Welcome back to the adventures of Emily
and Brenda.
And we're back with another reaction video.
Yay!
Yay, we love our reaction videos.
Today we have another music video reaction. We are going back to the 80s.
Yep.
And I'm introducing Emily to a Madonna song and video from the 80s, which is Papa Don't Preach.
Mm-hmm. I have heard the song before. I've heard it on the radio a lot. And I like the song from what I've heard. But I haven't watched the music video yet. So
Right, yeah. And yeah. I think it's interesting to put the song into context, too, at the time, because this came out in, 1986. So I was a teenager when this came out. And it was a really cutting-edge song and video because, we'll watch it and I'll get your thoughts as you watch it. I mean, I've seen it, but it's obviously been a really long time. Maybe the 80s, the last time I saw it. But it was really cutting edge for the time because, I mean, to be honest, even in the 80s, this was not something that people just talked about a lot. And parents were not really having these kind of conversations with their kids a lot in that time.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what you think.
yeah.
All right, so let's get into it.
I'm curious too.
Here we go. Papa Don't Preach from Madonna.
If you hear noise, there's cats in the background.
Yes, exactly. And the cats may have something to say.
Yeah.
This is like peak Madonna too.
Papa, I know you're going to be upset, 'cause I was always your little girl. You should know by now, I'm not a baby. You always taught me right from wrong.
I just wanted to stop it for a second and tell you the guy that is playing her father in this, he's actually a really famous actor. Do you recognize him?
No.
No, he was in a lot of movies. He's Italian. Well, I think he passed away actually several years ago, but his name is Danny Aiello, I think is his last name. But yeah, he's in a lot of movies. Probably around that time in the 90s and stuff like that. But anyway, just
Interesting. Yeah, already I could tell from the lyrics the song is relatable for every father-daughter dynamic.
Yeah.
I know I've definitely said I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
It's plenty of times.
But dads always see their girls as their babies, you know? It's always.
Yep.
Okay, what are you getting so far out of this? What's going on?
Obviously, the message is that she's pregnant and her father doesn't want her to be because she's too young. So.
Yeah. I'm not sure that she's told him yet at this point, but yeah. So clearly she's dating the kind of rebel guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Very cute, though.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of hair gel.
I'll say 80s. A lot of hair products in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Try to imagine that time period. in that situation.
I bet that would be a really tough situation to be in at that time. I mean, it is even now for some people to be in that kind of situation. People still have problems with that. So I can't imagine when it was a more of taboo thing that must have been really hard for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, hard to have that conversation, but I think you're right that even now, I mean, anyone who I think is pregnant as a teenager having to tell your parents.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's literally, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
even
if you know they won't judge you, that's I would have been scared to tell you that if that had happened. I can't imagine doing that and knowing that your parents would kick you out or judge you for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I know. But I mean, back then, it wasn't that a lot of people were having those kind of conversations with their kids about birth control and all of these things. I mean, they just didn't.
Yeah.
So I think it was even harder because, I mean, basically, you would have been judged for, having sex as a teenager at that time by your parents because you weren't supposed to. At least they didn't expect you to.
I feel like now it's worse though because there are all these options that a lot of people are educated about, and yet if it still happens, I feel like it's almost worse because your options, yet it still happened. I feel like people would judge you more harshly for it.
Maybe in some cases, but I don't know. I feel like at that time it was just, even though obviously teenagers were still having sex. I mean, that's kind of the big elephant in the room. Teenagers have always had sex.
Yeah.
Whether people talked about it or not, they still did. And back then it happened and people got pregnant, but a lot of that occurred because there were no conversations about birth control and options and those things.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay.
Maybe we'll be alright. Sacrifice. But my friends keep telling me to give it up, saying I'm too young, I ought to live it up. What I need right now is some good advice. Please, Papa, don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Papa, don't preach. I've been losing sleep, but I made up my mind. I'm keeping my baby.
I have a question. What year does this song come out?
I think it was 1986.
What year did Grease come out?
Earlier.
Earlier? Is that outfit inspired by
It's
that character?
very similar, isn't it?
It's very similar, because I was thinking she had the same thing happen with her in that movie where she thought she was pregnant or whatever. And I'm wondering
That's
if
right,
that's
yeah.
inspired by that.
Oh, you know what? That's a really good thought.
Yeah.
Stockard Channing's character, Rizzo.
Rizzo, yeah. I was trying to remember her name.
No, she did have a similar outfit, didn't she?
Yeah,
and
then
she
had
also
that
thought
whole thing.
That's,
yeah.
that's a great connection.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really made that connection that might be a callback. But that was a few years before that Grease came out.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be a connection with that.
Yeah, I think that's a really real possibility that she was kind of hearkening back to Grease a little bit. But I think it's interesting too that she's saying, I mean, she's expecting, I guess, her dad's reaction, which is going to be probably preaching about, why did you do this? Why did you have sex?
Yeah,
why did you all of these things? But I like the fact that she's just saying, look, this is the situation. I really need some advice. I don't need you to preach at me about what's already happened. What I need is some advice about how to handle this now.
Yeah.
It was really ahead of its time in some way, this song.
For sure.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna keep my baby.
I gather there's a single dad in this too.
Yeah.
Daddy, if you could only see just how good he's
voice is great in this too.
Yeah, she has a great voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes I don't really listen to Madonna on a regular basis
I don't
anymore,
either.
and I forget
Yeah.
sometimes. Like she has a great voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, her songs were always different. I mean, she was one of those artists that I feel like every song she released in some way was, I mean, obviously her with her voice, but there was always some unique aspect about it. I mean, her songs never sounded the same. She was never one of those kind of artists that you hear like all the songs sound the same.
Yeah.
I think hers always sounded different each
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my baby. Papa, don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Papa, don't preach. I've been losing sleep. Papa, don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Papa, don't preach. I've been losing sleep. Papa, don't preach. I'm gonna keep my baby. Papa, don't you stop loving me, Daddy. Papa, I know I'm keeping my baby.
Conversation.
It was really interesting.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
I'm glad it had like a happy
Yeah.
ending with him helping her at the end.
Right. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it felt. I mean, I think, obviously there are some parents who would completely, especially at that time, who did reject their kids in that situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the fear, and
Yeah.
imagine just that long walk, and I like that it showed that kind of her walking and this kind of like long walk of, I have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he accepted in the end. He wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's like the best case scenario for that kind of situation is like telling them and them, maybe not being happy, but then like just accepting it and helping. It's the most any kid can want from their parents is like being in a tough situation like that and just hoping your parents will help you regardless of their feelings for whatever it is
Yeah.
that you've done. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I don't think most people expect their parents to just, happily embrace that kind of news, because
Yeah.
parents often have a lot of, hopes and dreams and things for their kids. So it's probably a little like, okay, this is not what I was hoping would happen with you. But at the same time, I think you have to be like, okay, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And how are we going to deal with this? And what are we going to do? And how do we go forward now
Yeah.
in this situation? But yeah, it was nice that in the end, he loves his daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
We love our babies.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was, I don't know, that it was such a powerful video at the time. And I mean,
Yeah,
I still
even
think
now.
it is.
Yeah. Even now.
Just to show what somebody kind of goes through, and then even how she talks about that she's talking to her friends, and her friends are telling her
Yeah.
something else. So she makes it clear in this pretty early that she's like, I'm keeping my child and raising my child.
Yeah.
But that's not what her friends are telling her to do. What do you think about that?
I think I think obviously it's up to the person that it happens. They are capable of making their own decisions. I've heard like stories of other people being in situations where their friends will like leave them if they get pregnant as a teenager or even a young person or whatever. And like I think it's up to the person who's pregnant to make that decision, and you should just be there to support them no matter what, even if you disagree with it. Yeah, I would, if that had happened to me. Luckily it didn't happen to anyone I knew, but if that had happened, I would have been there to support that person no matter what.
Yeah, whatever their decision
Yeah.
was. But yeah, so I think that's the most important thing in those kind of cases, just to have people around you who support what you want to do. And
Yeah,
offer some
especially
good
as a young
advice.
person at that age when maybe you don't have the most stable like life and whatever, versus
Mm-hmm.
when you're, obviously an adult and you're married and you're planning to have a family, versus something like as a teenager you need a lot more support from everyone around you. It's kind of a community effort if you are able to have that.
Yeah, and it helps, I think, in this case, too, that it seems like her boyfriend really loved her, and he
Yeah.
also, seemed supportive of, I guess.
Yeah, I like that too, that it was not like, oh, he's leaving her and she needs help. I like that she was like, oh, I'm going to marry him one day and like we're going to keep the
we're in
baby
love,
together.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, that
It's not
would
like,
have
oh,
been,
I'm going to dip once the baby comes. It's like
Wow.
he's going to stick around. I liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was a really important conversation, I think, and it's interesting that at that time period in 1986, you can imagine, this was a very popular song at the time.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going around and singing this song.
Yeah.
And at the club or, driving down the road, and but the message is really powerful.
At the club.
At the club. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it was a very popular song.
Yeah.
But yet, a really powerful message at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the perfect kind of song. A song with a powerful message that's still something you can dance to.
You can dance,
So those
you
are the
can
best
dance
songs.
to, right?
Yeah.
While singing the message. But,
Yeah.
I think it meant a lot for, it still would today, like you said. I think it's still very relevant.
Yeah.
But at that time, it's just not something you heard. And to have
Yeah.
someone talking about that and addressing, hey, a lot of girls get pregnant as teenagers, and we need to talk about this, and what
Yeah.
the reaction of parents would be to that, and how, basically she was kind of laying it out in the song of, this is how we want you to react.
Yeah.
Don't preach to me about it, just be there for me
Yeah.
and help me with some advice and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A helpful 80s song.
Yes, always helpful.
Still relevant today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this reaction to Madonna's Papa Don't Preach.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.